Hey guys, thanks for tuning into another episode of Nev's Garage. Now if this is your first time joining us here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also toggle on the little bell. That way you'll be notified when the next video drops. Don't go wandering searching other videos now though, because today we've got a really great episode, okay? Now, it's one of our double overhead cam autoflight head series of videos, okay? Now today we're going to be looking at the head gasket for these custom heads, okay? Seeing if we can use the genuine Subaru gaskets or if we're going to do something a little bit innovative, okay? So it's going to be a blast. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so here's our autoflight head. Just going to sit him there like that. Here's a brand new genuine Subaru OE gasket, okay? Now the reason that I want to check this is just because of the different shaped ports that these heads have compared to the EA82 heads. Alright, so here's our genuine gasket, and we're just going to sit him on the head face here and see how all the galleries line up. Alright, so they do line up, but you can see they're different shapes, okay? The two coolant passages on the side are square and they're bigger than the holes in the gaskets. They're also very close to the fire ring. Same with this one down here. But my main concern is the oil gallery down here. So this feeds oil pressure up into the cams. So we need to make sure that that's sealed properly. Now, the way that this is made, it actually won't, because the port up into the top of the head is actually outside the sealing ring of the gasket. So it's actually just going to be using the body of the gasket to seal. Alright, we don't want to rely on silicone to seal our top end oil pressure in. So I think we'll draw up some new gaskets. See if we can get some custom ones made. Alright guys, well I've taken the dowels out. Now if you want to see how to do that, check out my other video. It goes into detail how to do that. The link's in the comments. I've cleaned up the surface of this block because we need to take an image of it now so we can get a pattern for the gasket. Alright, so I've got this picture frame. I'm going to use the glass out of it. And I'm just going to sit it down against the block and then I'm going to take an image of it. Alright, cool. So down our sheet of glass goes. Cool. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to put our all-in-one printer scanner on top. Hopefully it works upside down. Like that. Alright, so I'm also going to add a rule in the scan so that we can make sure when it's printed or plotted it's to scale. So I'm just going to hold that up on the edge, up on here, against the block, nice and still, and we'll see if we get an image. It's making the right noises. Oh yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, let's do a scan. Okay, let's have a look, see how it looks. Okay, looks pretty good. All right, so that one's done. Okay, so now let's get an image off the head face. Still got the sheet of glass on the printer, or on the scanner rather. And sit it down on there like that. That's pretty straight. The ruler again as a scale. And let's run a scan. All right, cool. All right guys, so now we're going to start drawing up the head gasket, okay, in SolidWorks. All right, so we're going to be taking a full model of the block. Going to be measuring all the ports, holes and everything, galleries on that, so that we get a really nice, accurately made gasket, okay? So what I'm going to do first is just drop down a couple of center lines on this new worksheet here. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to measure everything off the bores, okay? We're going to make the bores our datum, alrighty? And after we've done that, we're going to measure every single point from the center of each bore. I'm going to cross section it with different circles, and it should work out pretty damn accurate. So let's see what happens. All right, sweet. So I've got the bores plotted there, okay? And then we're going to measure everything from the centers of them. So I'm going to do the bolt holes first, and then we're going to go from there. All right guys, so I've got the block all mapped out now, the bolt patterns, the oil gallery and the locating dowels, okay? So what we're going to do now, we're going to import a picture, right? Now these are the pictures of the scans of the block and the head. I'm going to put them behind so we can plot out the water jackets, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to insert a photo. Alright, so we've resized and rotated. Now I'm just going to zoom in now. And what we can do now is adjust the transparency. Like this. And what I'm going to do now is line up the picture by the dowels. It's pretty darn good, so let's just move him about there. And there. So there we go. There's our scan of our block in behind our drawing. Now you can see it drop away as I put the transparency higher. You can see there are our hole plots, okay? So we're just going to drop that image back in. And so we can use this now to plot our coolant jackets. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just going to measure out from the center of the bores to these coolant jackets, see if they're in a PCD, hopefully they are, and then I'm just going to plot them on the drawing. Now these don't have to be as precise as the bolt holes because the gasket always allows for these not to line up perfectly anyway, so let's get into it. Okay, so there is all of our coolant ports. Okay, so let's get rid of some of these guide circles. Now let's have a look what happens if we move the photo away. There's a picture of our head gasket. Well, of the block anyway. Looking pretty good. So what we can do now is put a picture of the head behind there and see how all the ports look compared to the head. Like that. And then once again line up the dowels. Okay, there we go. So let's just crank the transparency up a little. Okay, let's have a look at our ports. pretty good. A little bit of work to do on the oil gallery because of the odd shape. Okay, but we'll get to that. So yeah, looking not too bad. Okay guys, so what I'm doing here is just drawing the exterior shape of the gasket, making it, you know, look like a gasket. Alright guys, so here's our printout. Here it is on paper and here it is on transparency. Okay, so what we're going to do is first of all just sit it against the OE gasket, see how it compares to that. Yep, looks pretty darn good. And now we can sit the transparency on the block. Alright, so here's the transparency. Pretty cool, we're able to print on clear plastic to check this kind of thing out. Okay, cool. So, yep. All right, so now we can check it against the head. Okay, so it looks pretty good. On to the next phase. And now I'm going to modify those coolant jackets to better suit the head. All right, so there's our transparency of hopefully our finished gasket. Let's see how it looks on the block. Let's see what it looks like on the head. Yep, also looks good. All right, let's email it off and see what we get. So there we have it, guys. Got our custom head gasket drawn up. Set it off to the gasket manufacturer. I expect it'll be a few Coronas till we get it back, so probably not much else to do now, but subscribe to our channel to make sure you can tune into the next episode of our Quad Cam EA82 project. It's heating up, getting quite exciting. So push that button, toggle on that bell, and also jump on our Instagram at Gossam Media. Make sure you follow us there. That way you can also see all the behind the scenes shots and latest info. That's it for this episode though. I'll see you next time on Ned's Garage.